Hey guys, it's your boy Sushi here with another Star Savior video. So once again, I'm loving this game, okay? Making content for it every single day. Anyway, let's get straight into the topic for this video. So we're going to be discussing how the classes work in this game, right? Like the defenders, the tanks, the heals, the damage dealers, all that stuff. And then I'll also tell you guys about the three characters who are essentially the strongest three characters in the game right now. And some of them are irreplaceable. Some of them you might be able to replace, but these three characters in their specific classes are just the best by far. Okay, so let's start off with some knowledge. Okay, some knowledge. So right here you guys can see that we have 6 different classes in this game. Okay, we have defenders, which are like the tanks, and don't worry, we'll go more in depth to as which classes do what, right? Striker is a DPS, ranger is a DPS, caster is a DPS, assassin's a DPS, and support is like the heals and stuff like that. Okay, so 6 classes, 4 of them are essentially DPSs, and the other 2 are like tank, support, and stuff like that. So let's go more in depth to exactly what each of those classes do. Okay, so we have the supporter over here. Supporters are a class with high HP. They possess skills specialized in aiding and protecting allies. So we're talking about heals, we're talking about buffs, we're talking about action value push, I think it's called in this game. Okay, and we have Ash, more about her in just a sec. But then we have the defenders. Defenders are a class with high defense and HP. They possess skills specializing in protecting allies. So stuff like shields. Okay, guys. So especially shields and also taking damage or damage mitigation, something like that for the rest of your team. Then we have the Rangers. The Rangers are a class with high attack. They possess skills specializing in inflicting harmful effects. So stuff like attack down, speed down, dispelling, things like that. Then we have the assassin. Assassins are a class with high attack. They possess skills specialized in striking single targets. So if we're talking about boss fights, your assassins are the strongest for those boss fights because they have a lot of single target damage. And we have two more classes. Yes, 2 more classes. So we have the casters right here. Look at this Paimon right here. Casters are a class with high attack. They possess skills specialized in attacking multiple enemies. So casters are for the big waves with a big AoE attacks. And then we have the last class right here. We have the striker class. Strikers are a class with high attack and high HP. They possess balanced offensive and defensive skills. So pretty good damage, but also relatively tanky compared to some of the squishier characters like assassins and rangers. Okay. All right. So now that we have reviewed all of the character classes, I mean, we're going to talk about the 3 strongest characters in their respected class or their respected role, right? Like what they do for your party. So of course, I'm sure you guys already know, the first and foremost, the strongest character in the entire game is Ash right here. Ash Waltz here, my favorite character in the game. Just look at her really quick. I just have to do this every time I talk about her. But look at that. Absolutely perfect smile there, guys. She is the best. She's my favorite. So let's look at her kit and let's explain why she's absolutely broken. Okay. Her unique passive allows her to have max HP by 10%, and then she restores the HP with the current lowest HP after using Bell Lame or Lame. I actually don't know, but we'll read it the rest in just a sec. Increases self dual attack chance by 15% for each stack of insight on self, up to 5 stacks. Recovery is proportional to self max HP. So she can essentially follow up and heal your teammates as well. Right? Okay, so they don't show that here, but we'll read this and you guys will get more of an explanation. So the Bell Lame is her. Is it Bell Lame? I don't know. Whatever. So the Bell Lame is her S1. Okay, we're gonna call this the basic skill S1, S2, and then S3, and this is her passive. So she gets a S1 and then she gains insight. Okay, she gets a stack of insight and her damage proportional to her max HP. Right damage, she gets some attack, a little bit more with HP, and then additional damage, not too important. But insight right here is very important. Okay, so damage dealt to chaos attribute units increased by 1%, applies up to 5 stacks, and the boost applies independently of buffs and debuffs. Okay, so this is her her exclusive buff. Okay, then she gets a dual attack, meaning for every stack of insight, she can follow up on one of your opponent's team and essentially do some more damage, right? Slowly do some more damage every time your teammates goes. And then she can also heal your teammates at the same time. And this is only 2 skills, guys. We've only been talking about 2 skills. She already seems like she does quite a lot for 2 skills, but we're not quite done yet. Well, on her S2, I'm gonna try not to read. I'm gonna try not to read the names anymore. But her S2 emits radiant light, unleashes a blade of aura to attack the enemy. So she attacks a single target and then restores all allies' HP. Grants self Starlight Wish, dispellable for 2 turns and 1 stack of insight. Damage and recovery are proportional to self max HP. Great, so max HP, very important. Her Starlight Wish right here increases speed by 10% and effect res by 30%. So this is only to herself, okay, guys? So she becomes um she becomes a little bit faster and also can take less debuffs, right? She can resist some more debuffs. Okay, now her S3 is a buff. She restores all allies' HP and removes 2 debuffs from them. So I didn't even know this. I'm not even gonna lie. I did not even know that she cleansed. All I knew was that she healed and pushed, right? So she pushes their action gauge by 15%. And then she also gets 1 stack of insight. And recovery is proportional to her self max HP. Okay, guys? So she's absolutely irreplaceable at 3 stars. Okay, so ideally, okay, you want to get her at 3 stars. You guys can see right here, I have 2 dupes of her. I need her 1 more star. I might use, most likely, I will most likely use my Quasar Core here. This is for any dupe, okay? Any dupe in the game. As long as you have the character, you can use this and then limit break any character in the game, okay? So I might do that later on in the stream. But you guys can see Ashe is an absolute unit of a character, okay? She's literally an all-in-one unit. She is the strongest unit in the entire game by far at 3 dupes, okay? There's literally no other character that does as much as she does, as well as she does. So she tanks, she heals, she supports by cleansing, and then she's also like kind of like a sub DPS, right? Depending on how you build her, she can actually do a decent amount of damage if you don't need her healing as much, right? So she is irreplaceable, okay, guys? Every single account needs this character. All right. Now, the second character that is monumental to your success in this game is going to be Bunny Girl Charlotte right here, okay? She's insane, all right? She's absolutely insane. Just look at this. That is insane, bro. Okay, anyway, let's read her kit and explain why she's so strong and nearly irreplaceable. Not quite as irreplaceable as Ashe Waltz that we just reviewed, but almost irreplaceable. Okay, so her skills. Let's go into her skills here. So she's an assassin, right? So she specializes in single target damage. All right, so the reason why Charlotte is so strong is because of her passive. So she gets these stacks called Ignition, okay? In her passive, she increases her own action gauge by 6% after using Bunny Step. We'll get to that in just a sec. Triggers Bunny Step in additional time after using Bunny Step on self. Turn if self has a lucky token undispellable. Additional trigger occurs once per turn. Okay. So Ignition, right? This is just an extra tiny little damage boost. But the point of Ignition, you guys will see later, is in her S3. Okay, so let's just keep going with her skills really quick. So her S1, she just does a normal attack, and then she gains 1 stack of Ignition. Okay, pretty straightforward there, right? Nothing too crazy just yet. Her S2, she grants attack up for 2 turns for every single character on your turn. Okay, so you want her essentially to go second on your team after Ashe Waltz. And then she also grants herself lucky token, lucky token undispellable for 3 turns and a stack of Ignition with the 84% chance 3 times total. And then she gains an extra turn after using this. So essentially, right, she gets to buff her team up by 30% attack. She gets lucky token, which is penetrating 20% defense. So she ends up doing even more damage, which is also why she is almost practically irreplaceable almost, right? And then the Ignition, you guys already know. So that's really good. Now wait until we read this one. Okay, this is the crazy one. So Her S3, having lost all her chips, Charlotte flips the table and attacks the enemy, deals 5% increased damage for each ignition stack. So the ignition stacks help her do even more damage on top of the 20% defense ignore as well. Up to 5 stacks on attack, then removes all ignition stacks after attacking. Reset the cooldown of Cornered Rabbit if ignition is at max stacks after attacking. So what does this mean? This means that if you use her S3 when she has all 5 stacks of ignition, you can S3 with her twice. Okay, so the way you play her, even in PvP, right? You don't really want to nuke right away. The way she works is you want to S2 with her, she goes again, and then you want to S1, S1, S1 until you get 5 stacks, which I think takes 2 turns depending on the other characters that you run. And then you can use her S3, her ult, with her. It's a big nuke, a big single target nuke, twice in a row. And then, not to mention, she follows up all the time off your teammates' attacks and her own attack. Well, not her teammates' attack. Sorry, she will follow up with her S1 on her own attacks, building up the stacks like nonstop. She literally, I don't think she has any downtime on this. I haven't checked. I haven't done the actual math, but I don't think she has any downtime on her follow up attacks, as well as her double ult, her double S3. Okay, so in terms of characters that like can replace her, like I said, there's not really a character that can do as much damage as she can. Um, but you can try to use maybe Bunny Girl Claire or Roberta to try to do somewhat as much damage as her, but definitely almost irreplaceable, honestly. Okay, now for the third and final character that I also think is pretty much irreplaceable in this game is Emily. She is by far the strongest tank for PvE, right? This is a PvP guide, but she is a defender, of course. I do have one dupe of her. So she has her passive, max HP, and then she grants herself barrier for 1 turn at the start of the first battle, reduces the cooldown of turn down service by 1 turn after being attacked, reduces the cooldown by 1 additional turn, then grants self 1 stack of chill with a 50% chance of after being attacked by an attack that targets all. Barrier is proportional to the self max HP. Okay, cool. So extra HP, chill is just the sun attribute, and then barrier is the shield, right? We know that. Her S1 here swings a massive broom to attack the enemy, grants 1 stack of chill, and damage is proportional to max HP. Not a big deal. Just a normal attack. Now her S2, this is really good. So she cleanses her allies, all that stuff. She grants 1 ally attack up and barrier for 3 turns, and grants self stacks 3 stacks of chill, then grants yourself an extra turn. So this is really good. The strategy, right? Is there anything here we need to read? No, right? But the strategy with her is you want, if you're going to manual, right? If you're going to manual, you want the shield to be on herself. Usually she'll put the shield, if you're on auto, she's going to put this S2 on somebody else. But if you're manualing and you're stuck on a boss or something, you don't want her to die, right? If she dies, the rest of your team might die as well, right? She's going to be the number 1 character to get hit because she is the defender. So you usually at the very tough boss fights, you want to S2 herself so that she gets that shield for 3 turns. All right. And then she has her S3 here, turn down service. So this is what the unique passive is. So she essentially can cool down, decrease her S3, her ult, so she can do more damage. For some reason, this tank support does so much damage as well. But her S3 attacks all allies, grants all allies defense up. So this is huge, right? So not only does she protect yourself or whoever you need, or herself or whoever you need to with shield, she can also give you defense up, making you extra tanky for those longer fights as well. Then she grants herself 1 stack of awakened memory, which is undispellable, removes all stack of chills and reduces the cooldown by 2 turns. If chill has max stacks after attacking, damage is proportional. So she pretty much can give your team essentially infinite defense up. Okay, literally infinite defense up, and then grants 1 ally attack up. But usually you put this on herself too for those really hard fights, right? But sometimes you can put it on another character. Sometimes the auto that I have, they put it on my bunny girl Charlotte, and that works out well too. But you literally get infinite defense up for your entire team because she just keeps cooldown decreasing this skill, so she can just spam it. She sometimes, I don't think she can never use it 2 times in a row, but definitely every other turn she can use it. Defense up right there. And then also this, she has awakened memory, which increases her ultimate skill damage, so her S3 damage by another 50%. I honestly didn't even know she did this. Okay, she did not. I did not know. I was wondering why her Excalibur ult, her Cardathia Flirterous ult, did so much damage. Like, sometimes more than my freaking Lacey, who is supposed to be a DPS, you know? So yeah, Emily is the third character that I think is like a must pull. Like, you must have these three characters in your account. Number one, number two, and number three. And I'm ranking them specifically by how irreplaceable they are and how strong their kit is for PVE. Okay. Now let's talk about the fourth slot. It depends on what content you're running. I've heard people have success running a DPS in this fourth slot. Some people also run two tanks, right? They run two tanks alongside Emily, depending on the boss, depending on your account and stuff like that. Now, for the fourth slot, this character that I've been using personally is Lacey here. She's a very strong ranger. She does very good damage, both AoE and single target. And she puts some debuffs as well. So let's take a look. So her unique passive, she pushes herself 6%, restores HP after she's attacked by an enemy inflicted with Entangled Dream. And then the recovery is proportional to her attack, which is good, right? Because she's a DPS, so you want to be building her attack, and she heals proportional to her attack. Then she has her S1 right here. Just a normal attack, right? But she gains stacks of agitation, which is just a slight damage increase, right? Every single element has this. Her S2 is her big single target damage. She grants herself speed up for 2 turns, deals 20% increased damage if the enemy is afflicted with Entangled Dream on attack. Okay, and she gets the speed up right there, some damage right there. But her S3 is where she gets the Entangled Dream. Okay, so you have the S3 with her first. She slashes the enemy, so this is an AoE. Okay, AoE attack. She gets attack up for herself and inflicts all enemies with Entangled Dream for 3 turns with an 85% chance. I'm not too sure if this goes up higher if you up the skill level anymore, but we'll have to see. So Entangled Dream right here. Attack decreases by 10%. So that's really good. So she's essentially lowering the damage that the enemy can do to you, but also buffing her own damage towards them, which is huge, right? So you want to S3 first and then S2 into them, and then she should do a lot of damage. Okay, but as you guys can see there, it's not like her kit isn't that crazy, which is why the fourth slot can be up to you. You can decide whether to put another tank, another DPS. As for Lacey, you can use another character, another DPS like Bunny Girl Frey or Muriel, or I think Belle, I think her name is. Those three characters are very strong as well. Though I still think Lacey is the best out of those four, but she is not quite on the level of being irreplaceable like the three we just mentioned. Okay, guys, because the three we just mentioned, they're just way too strong, like literally way too strong. So Lacey has been working really well for me, right? I've only been really losing now in operation because the difference in my combat power is just a little too much, right? Look, it's like 8.4k, almost 8.5k, and I only have 70k, right? We'll be working on that later on stream, but like 15k is kind of like the limit that you can auto with, so I'm gonna have to do this manually or something later on stream. We also have a quick note here, a quick little tip that some people might not know, right? So you're thinking like, oh, what if I already built a character and they're not as strong? Or what if I built a character, let's say, what if I build another tank like Hilde and I just pulled Emily, right? What can I do, you know? So what you can do, I think a lot of people don't actually know this, you can click on the character, okay? And then you might not notice it because it's kind of like small here, but right under their level and their resonance level, there is a level reset, okay? So you can click this, all right? You get everything back. You get literally everything back. The only cost is 10 gems, which is pretty much nothing. They give you 10 gems for free every single day, but obviously, you know, you want to save this for summons. Every tiny bit counts, but you're not going to break the bank resetting a character, okay? So if for whatever reason, whether you pull like Emily after using another tank, or you don't want to use a certain DPS anymore or something like that, you can definitely reset any of the characters for only 10 gems, which is, I think, very generous for this game. A lot of other RTA games like Etheria, you don't get to reset characters unless there's an event, and even then the resets per character, other than the first one, which is free, is very expensive. So I think that's very important there, for people who don't know, right? For people who mess up, right? Because we're still beginning, we're still in the first week of this game. You're prone to make mistakes, so the devs allow us to just reset a character really quick, which is awesome. Yeah, all right, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys found it helpful, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have any ideas about guides that you want me to make and stuff like that, definitely let me know down in the comments. Okay, guys. I'm also trying to hit 2,500 subscribers by the end of this month. We are so close, guys. We are like 50 subs away from my 2,500 sub goal by the end of March. So please, please, if you found this video helpful at all, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be giving away 2 monthly passes at the end of March, regardless of whether or not I hit the sub goal. But if I do hit that sub goal, I'm going to give away double. So I'm going to give away 4 monthly passes for any gacha game you want. Okay, this game, Ethereum Restart, Wuthering Waves, Arknights Enfield, any game that you want. Okay, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. I stream every single night. Okay, guys, so if I don't see you on stream, then I will just see you in the next video. Bye.